Welcome to the 2024 Kite Park League World Championships presented to you by Global Kite Sports Association and Qatar Airways. My name's Alex Lewis-Hughes and I'm going to give you a play-by-play breakdown of the men's final and also give you a quick overview of the rest of the event's proceedings. The women competition saw once again Katie Potter from Melbourne, Australia backing up her 2023 world title with another clinch here in Hood River, Oregon.
It was really fun riding out there with everyone and awesome to see everyone shredding, throwing down. We had all conditions all week, but what an awesome crew, what a sick event. Stoked to be part of it, stoked to win.
Katie has been a star player within the park scene for a number of years now, bringing many of her own NBDs, that's never been done tricks to the table, and helping up that overall women's level. We'd also like to congratulate Lauren Holman and Kristen Cooper for their performances, coming second and third in this year's World Championship respectively. Now with the men's qualification rounds, it was a hotly contested matchup with many of the top men's riders coming together to give it their all and try and secure that spot as the world champion. We saw local rider Chase Hatch landing doubles on command but narrowly missing out on that spot in the final, as did fellow Americans Chad Porter, Chris Bobrick and Tim Walsh, who were all right there ready to get that spot in the final if Eric Reinstra hadn't pipped them to it. Noé Font taking that top spot in the qualification round, showing why he's one of the best riders in the world and our 2023 Kite Park League Vice World Champion. Unfortunately, this year Noé injured his ribs just before the final. He gave it his best attempt to continue to compete, but the pain was unbearable, so he had to sit it out. And as you will see, when we get started here, Noé's name is grayed out because of that, and you will not be seeing any of his hits. But let's get started, let's get straight into it, and I'm going to give you the quick breakdown of the 2024 Kite Park League World Championships.
We've been blessed with some classic Hood River, turbulent, gusty, kind of hectic conditions up until now, which has been, you know, little score separations in place, and it's difficult to land your best tricks, but hopefully for the final today, we're just going to see everyone's best moves.
Kind of thinking we got a lot of really good competitors, so we're going to have to go for broke. Hopefully get my base trick done, and then the next two attempts will be just going for things that I don't land as often.
Yeah, gotta keep the muscles moving, man. It's a long tournament, so taking a long way to the final. I'm definitely feeling the grind, but yeah, I'm stoked on where I'm at riding, and yeah, ready to shred.
Yeah, hyped to get out there and send it in the final. Yeah, plan is to stick to the plan, you know. Got my tricks ready, and yeah, it'd be nice to have some better wind. The heats were pretty tough wind, but yeah, wind's looking promising for today for some smoother, more consistent wind, which will, you know, keep the playing field fair and give us the conditions to do our best tricks.
Pretty intrigued what the conditions are gonna be, and really keen to send it out there, try some new stuff maybe. Always good to pull that last trick on the last attempt.
Eric Reinstra starting things off. Oh, it's an early pass. Don't really think Eric had the wind there. As you will see on these first two features, the wind is a little bit gusty, so some riders might just choose to pass instead of taking their go. Brendan Kerr putting down an early chromobe there, missing the grab just slightly. Not sure if that fist bump was a yes, I've got my first trick, or no, I missed the grab. But here we go, Sam Light also opting to pass. And I'm not sure if that one was a strategic move or the fact that he also might have just not had the conditions he wanted. You'll see that these two features, the first right two features, this kicker and the duotone, are usually the hardest to get good wind for. So many times the riders will be coming in, and if they're not feeling it, they can pass. They've got that one pass up their sleeve. But Jack's not choosing to pass, and he's copping a massive gust. Going for a toe back 7 there, but yeah, wind hitting him mid-trick and really just pulling him into a nose edge there. I'm sure he wasn't feeling great on that first attempt. Ewan, Early toe back 7, bit of a pre-spin, kite loop out 7. I'm not sure about that one, maybe a little bit over awarded there, but we did see that Brendan got that 6-6 for the crow mode without a grab, so it might be, you know, par for the course. Erik Reinstra holding on for just a simple backside 3 with a melon grab and scoring about what you would expect, a 3.4. Brendan Kerr coming in for his second hit, going for a double grab I think on that one, but also missing both the grabs, which, you know, might have just thrown him off. It might have taken his awareness away from the trick and just crashing hard on that one. Sam Light for his first hit, I'm sure he wanted a 5 on that one, but maybe he didn't have the wind. Maybe, you know, it just wasn't feeling it, but yeah, a 3.4, so basically on par with what Erik did earlier on. I'm sure that wasn't what Ramiro was going for either. Tricky wind conditions just mean you kind of have to send it. You don't have the option to pass every time. You only get one pass, and if you've used that pass already, you've just got to go for it. So Jack got gusted on that first attempt, passed on his second. We're back around to Ewan again. Ewan speed checking a little coming in here, popping the toe side. Nice. Going for that toe side, backside, stale 7. As you can see, pretty cleanly rotated. A little bit of pre-spin on the takeoff, but obviously the judges liking that he held the grab there and liking that everything else was clean and his kite was, you know, pretty static in that trick. It wasn't moving around, it didn't loop out. Erik Reinstra coming in for a classic KGB. This is something we've seen Reinstra do for years now. He's the master of inverted tricks off the kicker. He's done all 8 mobs off the kicker, and if you haven't seen that, you can check it out in his video, fully automatic. Search that one out on YouTube. It's a masterclass in how to do mobs off the kicker with proper inversion. Brendan Kerr coming in for his third hit. Another crow mob. Yep, 6.6, a pretty fair score there. We saw that earlier, basically the same thing. I think he didn't really get the grab again, so judges on point there giving it the same score. Sam Light, I'm sure he wanted the 7 there. I'm sure he wanted a grab, but just managed to squeak in a toe back 5 and at least going to give him that 5.65, which is going to keep him in the game. It's the name of the game here. You got to play it pretty even across all the features. Oh, Rami. He really wanted that rewind. It was looking good. I think he did miss the grab, but if he'd got that one down, that would have really put him up there with Ewan, I think. Wow. Big scent toe back 7. Kite might have been a little bit high there, and we can see that the judges maybe thought that too. Not quite scoring it as big as you would expect for going that high, but still a 7.95, a great score for him there. Ewan saying no thanks. He's got that 8.25 already on the board, so he knows he's got an opportunity there to up that score and go big, opting to pass and leave it all up to the last go. Erik Reinstra. Oh, going for that Pete 5, which is that extra 180 on top of the KGB. Not quite sticking it though, just coming a little back seat and falling off. Sam Light coming in for his last go. Oh, once again, going for that toe back 7, I'm sure, but also just kind of finding a bit of a gust in the air there, pulling him out flat and not being able to pull it around to toe side. Ramiro coming in for his final hit. Putting down a back 5, I'm sure that was a safety hit. I'm sure he knew he really had to get something down, and that was a really smart play. Only getting a 6.15, but that's definitely a score that's going to keep him in the game. Jack Ryder. This is what we see from Jack. Jack likes to go big. Jack likes to spin a lot, and you'll see it. That heel side, front side 9, a little pre-spun, but really classic execution, really tight spinning. Jack really does put on a masterclass of just how to put spins down in any conditions possible. If you're out in the park and it's an average day, you will not hesitate to see him throwing a 7 or a 9 when other people are struggling to even do 540s. So Ewan Jaspin just saying no thanks on his final go there. And that's all she wrote for the right foot kicker. We'll see the leaderboard here. Jack going in first place with that 8.8, That heel-side, frontside 9, Ewan closely behind him with an 825, with a toe-side, backside 720 with a stale. It's still a pretty close fight here. Eric just opting to pass on that first go. I'm sure he didn't have the speed he wanted. We've moved to the safety angle here. The GoPro had some problems on the drone for the first little round of hits. Brendan Kerr coming off a bit early there, 2.0. Judges still giving him some score for getting on the rail and making it across a bit of the rail, but you really want to get a full pull. You want to hit the whole rail to get a high score, and I think the judges were pretty harsh on not getting a full pull. If you didn't get all the way across the rail, you weren't going to get any of those high level scores. As we can see there, Rami, you know, that wasn't such a bad hit, but you could see he wasn't lined up. He didn't make a full pull, and he only scored a 3.25. So Jack Ryder passing. It's really good that these guys have a pass, because in these conditions, Hood River, it's not Brazil, it's gusty, it's hard, people having trouble here. Ewan also passing, so, you know, nearly everyone kind of passed on that first go or got an average hit, which shows you just how difficult the conditions are here. Eric going in for a board slide, backside 270 off. A really simple hit, and I think the judges saw that. 3.75. I mean, for a board slide 270 in this day and age, I don't think you can expect too much more than that. Once again, Brendan Kerr just coming off a little bit early, getting the same score he got before. Back into the drone view here, which is nice. We've got Sam Light again at 180 on, 270, 270, but just coming off the outside there. The judges probably still rewarding him for how technical that hit was, giving him a 3.5, but still conscious of him not getting that full pull that he needed to get a high score. Rami coming in for the pass. At the moment, we can see that Eric's out on top, but there's a lot more to come. We haven't really had any good hits on this rail yet. Jack, speed checking, taking a little bit of a different line, but coming downwind into it. Little board slide 270 as well, coming off very early. I'm not sure that line was really the best. I think if he'd come up from a little bit higher, like what Ewan's doing here, he would have had a better overall line. Front 3 on. What are the judges going to score this? We get the replay. Little front 3 on 50, a little bit zeechy, but for the conditions and how difficult this rail was to hit, I think that was fairly acceptable, and the judges agree that's an 8.35, which has boosted him up into the first spot. Reinstra coming in, backlip. Ooh, he wanted something out of that, but his kite was turning down and pulled him off the rail. So that's something you've got to consider. If you're a cable rider and you're watching this, really the kite turning and moving and the wind gusting, it just creates all these variables that you would never have at a cable park or behind a winch or behind a boat or anything else pulling you. And it's something that you really got to think about as a rider. You've got to adjust your hits for the conditions, and we can see these guys are really changing their approach and changing the hits they're trying based on these conditions being super difficult. These guys can do a lot more technical tricks than this if you watch videos of them, but in this section now, they're really just going for what they can do. And Rami showing you one of the classic tricks there, just that board slide back lip to Sev, and getting quite a decent score for it, honestly. A 7, I feel, is quite high for that trick, but given the conditions and, you know, the fact that Jack got a 3 for that trick, that they're saying, look, we're rewarding anything that you're going to do well and get a full pull. We're going to give you that score. Ewan once again going for the same hit, probably trying to better what he did before, but not quite hanging on for the full pull. Another 3. But he's got that big score, so I don't think he's going to be too worried at this point. Reinstra once again, backlip, looking a little bit zeeched out there and coming off the outside, just trying to hang on. Couldn't really pull it off. I'm sure he wanted more. Sam Light and the masters of rail execution. Kite height was impeccable, kite control was impeccable. We can see it on the replay. A little bit zeechy there on that front one, and that back three, a bit zeechy, but overall not a bad hit. 735, so yeah, the judges not really liking that kind of zeeched out 180 on and the spin between the two rails. We also need to remember the judges are on a completely different angle to what we are here. They're from over on the side there where you can see the flags, so for them anything that's coming off the downwind side is really going to look like coming off early, and anything coming off the upwind side might be a little bit more lenient. Rami 7.5 for that backlip 450. That's another one of those classic hits that you see a lot, and probably a good one to put on for some gusty conditions, because you know if you hold on for that one it's going to look pretty nice, and there's a good chance the judges are going to reward it, which they did. Ewan Jaspin coming in for his final hit. Front three on, back lip, once again, just coming off a bit early off that outside, getting a 4, probably a little bit of an overscore, but he's already got that higher score there, so I'm sure the judges know that's just going to be an instant throw out. Well, there we have it. Ewan Jaspin's out in front at the moment, Ramiro just behind, and Sam Light really close behind that. It's still anyone's game at this point as Eric Reinstra comes into the cab. He's not feeling it though. That's a quick pass on his first attempt. Brendan Kerr's got a bit of ground here to work on. Getting a hit though, not the best hit, and once again the angle that the judges are on here, they're on the upwind side looking downwind at the feature, so really coming off the downwind like Brendan did then would look really early, and I'm sure they also felt the same way because they gave him a 3. Sam Light trying to lock into that upwind on the top of the cab. Maybe a smart move in gusty wind like this, because it's kind of stabilizing him against the top of the feature. This cab box is usually situated the other way around on the right foot, but we've got it on the left foot here, so there is the possibility to hit that upwind wall ride. You're not going to see many guys do that though, because these conditions once again were really tricky. It got super gusty on this feature. Ewan putting it all on the line there, going for the back 3 on, not quite getting on line for that last pipe, and the judges not really liking that, a 2.8. Reinstra trying to do some stuff there with his front lines, but yeah, he can't save that one. As you can see, you know, that's sometimes what happens in a kiteboarding competition. You just don't have wind, and no matter what you do, you can't get a good hit. Brendan, once again, going for that same hit. The judges not really liking it much more than the other time they saw it. He did probably come off a bit more early this time, but got a better score, and that is, I think, because the judges are standing on that upwind side. Oh, Sam Light going for, again, for locking into the upwind of the step and then going for a front board, and I'm guessing probably a back 270 off, but yeah, just coming up a little short on that one. Oh, Ramiro playing with fire there. He was really close to that upwind leg on the corrugated pipe, and that's definitely taken a few people out this event and surrounding the event. Jack Ryder going for one of those classics. We get the replay on this one, so the judges obviously liking it. 50-50, a bit of a zeeched out board slide. Front board, 450 off. I guess the judges really liked that front board 450 off. That's, you know, one of those tricks that you see the last part, and as a judge, you might not remember the first part. I feel like the first part of that hit that Jack did was pretty bad, and overall I guess a 5.7 is fair, but once again I'm not sure if that one was really worth a 5.7, maybe getting a little bit lucky on that one. Eric Reinstra coming in for some speed this time, board slide, front board, 90 off, really zeeched on that front board, and I think that the judges could see that from their angle. 2.9. Brendan Kerr, he needs to put a big one on the board. Opting to pass, so he's going to leave it up to his last go to make something of this CABRINHA feature. Sam Light coming in next. Into the back 270, board slide. Oh, that wind just dropping out there. He was right on line for that one. That really could have changed the game for him if the wind had just played ball. Rami coming in with some speed. 270, board slide 270. A little bit zeeched out on that one again, but I think the judges being, you know, pretty rewarding on this feature because they know how hard it is and they can see that everyone's just not really getting a hit. And typically, if you're having a session on a feature like this and the wind's good, there'll be hits back to back to back to back to back. So what we're seeing here is pretty uncharacteristic of these guys. So you know that it must be really tough conditions. Ewan just trying to put something in on that rail, shaking his hand in the air. He's obviously not happy. Eric Reinstra got speed this time. Going for that front board again. Front board, back 90. Pretty zeeched out. So a 4 there I think was a great score for Eric. He should be really happy that he managed to rack up a 4 on that one. Brendan Kerr, back lip, board slide 270. That one looked better to my likings, but I guess, as I said, the judges being on that upwind side and he coming off the downwind side probably didn't look as good as the other hit for them. Rami, 270, front board. We're going to see the replay. Locking that one in nicely, the 270 off. Judges liking it, 6.7, which is a great score so far for this feature, and he's out in front right now. Ewan Jaspin close behind. Board slide 270. Also coming off early to the inside, 2.5. Nothing to write home about for Ewan on that feature. It's going to be tough for him. Rami's out in front now, 20.35. Ewan close behind, 19.6. And Jack, 17.75, with Sam Light close up the rear at 17.15. It's anyone's game. This last feature is really going to show who's going to take this out this year. Eric Reinstra with a classic G spot. We've seen Ryan do that at a lot of comps. As I said, he's the master of doing inverts off the kicker, and for him, that's just something he can throw down in any conditions pretty much. The kicker was probably a little bit more favorable than the cab just because it's a lot shorter feature and you really just want to blast into it and hopefully get a bit of pop. Sam Light not getting a lot of pop there. I feel like his head almost hit the water, but the judges still rewarding it with a 6.5, which is a great score for him. He really needed that, and that will be pushing him out in front of Jack at this point and hopefully above Rami and Ewan. So we'll see what those other guys can do. Speaking of Jack, whoa, that was a late pass, and he was also really close to the drone there. So I was flying the drone. I remember getting a little bit put off by that, but I'm not trying to get too close when these guys are doing their thing because I don't want to put them off. So luckily I had a bit of time there to get out of his way and let him do his thing. Ewan Jaspin passing on his first hit. Eric Reinstra coming in again, getting the nose that time on that G spot. But the judges not liking it. They don't like the butt check. Only a 2. I feel like that was a little bit underscored, but you know, given the fact that it was such a heavy butt check, I can also agree with them. Brendan Kerr, a 2.7 for that toe back 3. In comparison to the G spot, I felt like that G spot was a bit better, but Sam Light pulling out a little back 5, a 5.5, which I also think is pretty fair. Not really going that big and not adding the grab in. Rami popping it up big, getting the grab, but just not doing a lot with it. It's hard to get much above a 4 for just a flat 3. Jack Ryder. Oh, that was almost a repeat of what he did on the first kicker. Getting that nose edge again. He's probably not liking that. Ewan Jaspin coming in. KGB 7.5. The judges were liking that one. I think that kite was a good height, had a lot of speed, clean execution, clean landing. So we can see that these judges really don't like if you're butt checking. They really don't like if you're sending the kite. They want to see that kite static. They want to see clean landings. And that's how you're going to get those high level scores. Brendan Kerr, toe back 3 as well. And as you can see, these guys, if they're doing 360s, they're really only getting in that 3 to 4 range, mostly around 3.5, and the judges really aren't interested in giving out anything higher than that for just a flat 3. Sam Light going for a pass, wondering what he's thinking right now. I'm sure he's probably thinking about taking that Moby to a Moby 5. That would definitely up his score. Rami coming in. Toe back 5, holding on and popping out of that. But yeah, once again, the judges don't like that. They don't like that it's not clean and that he kind of slid out of it. Jack Ryder, big back 7. Once again, not a clean landing, but the judges, I think, rewarded that one because he went a lot bigger than everyone else went. Ewan Jaspin. KGB 5. And I'm sure that's what he was looking for. I'm sure he was hoping he could get the KGB 5 off this kicker. A classic trick. We've seen him do this a fair few times now. We saw him attempting that in Brazil as well. And look, getting a great score for that, 8.4. He knows the judges like that. He knows that an invert with a 540 is going to score great. Reinstra, not getting the pop he wanted, shaking his head, still getting a 4.65. And that's all she wrote for Eric. He's not going to have another hit. That was his final hit. Brendan Kerr coming in for his final hit. Toe back 5, super close to landing that one. The bar just getting away from him a little bit. I'm sure he also got hit by a bit of a gust of wind. Sam Light, can he do it on his final hit? Oh, that was the one he needed to do it on. That was definitely the biggest Moby he did. We're going to get the replay, so it's definitely a good score. Going high and taking it far. Did he have time to go 5? I think he did, but he just didn't have the tension there. You could see his lines slacking out, and that's something you also need to manage as a kiteboarder. You need to manage that line tension. If you want to spin 540, if you don't have the tension there, you just can't do it. Oh, we're going to an alternate angle. Drone missed this one, but Rami putting a toe back 7 down when he needed it. As you can see, not the biggest. He didn't pop up too high, but he did travel quite far, and I think his kite was pretty still, so a 7.6 is a great score there for him. Jack, heel back 7. A little bit slower and the kite a little bit higher, and the judges noticing that, only giving him a 6.6. Probably not what he was hoping for there. Ewan trying to up that KGB 5, but not quite holding on, crashing the kite there. Pretty uncharacteristic landing for Ewan. He's usually pretty clean on the landings. And there you have it. That's our final scores. Ewan Jaspin, 28. Really close behind, 27.95 for Ramiro. Jack Ryder, 24.35 in third. Sam Light, 24.05 in fourth place. Wow, that was really close, guys. I can't believe how close that came in the end. I really didn't know who was going to win when I was watching this thing go down. But I did see across all the features that I thought, you know, Ewan put down the better tricks overall. Even though he had that one kind of fault on the cab, he really did put down the bangers on the other features. And we can see that the judges agreed with that, scoring 8s across the board except for the cab, which took him to that 28th spot. Ramiro, super close behind. That must be agonizing for him. That's what you want to do in a comp. You want to hold on, put down what you can, but just not having enough high-level scores to boost him up above Ewan. If it had just been the matter of maybe grabbing a back 5, he would have been up there in that first position. In the third spot, Jack Ryder. What a showing. This boy likes to go big and he likes to spin a lot. Man, if he had just put something down as well, if he'd added a grab into that heel back 7, or if he'd just got a slightly better cab hit, it also could have been his game. I feel like he could have been in that top spot. And Sam Light, he could have been on the podium too. He was really, really close behind Jack. It could have been the matter of him getting that Moby 5 in, or just getting a slightly more locked in hit on the duotone. It's really that close out there. I can't believe it, guys. What a great final we just witnessed.
Yeah, Rami.
Sorry, Joe, 0.5. Do it first.
Go back.
I had more practice, I think.
Oh, my eyes sting so much.
All right, now first.
Oh,
I'm
God.
finished. Well done, Mo.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm done.
Feels pretty good. I feel like 3 of the 4 features I really put down my best moves. And then just with the CABRINHA hit, it was pretty below par, but I guess my other 3 kept me in it and kept me in the win. Rami got super close, so soaked for him. Yeah, it was a really great final and can't believe I won it again, so that's, yeah, pretty stoked.
Congratulations, mate. Thanks for coming down. Thanks for supporting the park and thanks for being there.
Thank you, and I'm an absolute gaze.
I hope you've enjoyed the post-show and my quick rundown of this 2024 Kite Park League World Championships, proudly supported by Global Kite Sports Association and Qatar Airways. Thank you to all the riders involved, thank you to the judges, thank you to the photographers, thank you to the videographers, and thank you to anyone else that came down and supported the World Championships. We hope to see you all out there next year, and good luck.